Hello, everyone. In today's session, we are going to learn how to set up the organization in Onfinity ERP. Our agenda is to set up the organization in Onfinity ERP. The objective is to enable you to understand the Onfinity organization setup and its associated terms within the context of business processes. The prerequisites for creating an organization in Onfinity ERP include a configured tenant in your environment and necessary administrator login credentials. Let's understand what an organization is. An organization represents a legal entity within the system where transactions are recorded and managed. It can be a company, institution, or association formed for a specific purpose. For example, under the tenant we created as Sonic, you could have Sonic Ventures or Sonic Solutions as an organization. Here is an important note for the user. The organization is a highly sensitive configuration window. Avoid creating multiple organizations without proper planning. Always align organization creation with your specific business structure requirements. In terms of the customer, you just need to get the details from them about their organization, and thereafter, you need to create the organization under your tenant. Let's understand the relationship between the tenant and the organization. As you can see in the flowchart, Sonic is our tenant, and under Sonic, there are going to be Sonic Ventures and Sonic Solutions. Let's move into the system. Enter your username and password to log in. On the landing page, you'll see all the mosaics, and they are empty at present. This is because we are working in a newly generated tenant where the configuration hasn't been done and no transactions are available. Now, from the search utility of the menu, you can search for organization. Or you can directly move to the menu at Company and Global Settings. Under Company Structure, you can find the Organization window. Open the Organization window, and as you can see, Sonic Ventures is already available. It was generated from the tenant process. If you want to update the organization code, you can do so. The name was already provided from the tenant process. By default, it came as a legal entity from the tenant process. We'll discuss the summary level later in this session. The Enable Budget control indicates whether you're preparing budgets for this organization, and it also defines the control basis. Click on the navigation button, and then click Organization Info. You will be moved to the Organization Info tab. You need to select the organization type and enter the registration number of the organization. Next, there is the address. Enter the address and mailing address. While entering the address, you need to select the region from the drop-down instead of typing it out. This is because when you're creating certain rules to pick up taxes, the system will validate against the selected region. So, be sure to select it rather than typing it. Select the parent organization if there's a centralized purchase where material will be transferred to other organizations' warehouses. In such cases, you need to select the parent organization. Select the default warehouse that was generated by the tenant process. You can see it was generated under Sonic Ventures, and you can rename the warehouse if needed. For further details about warehouse setup, refer to the warehouse setup video. Select the accounting book if your organization uses a different set of accounting books. Select the calendar if your organization has a different financial year. If there is only a single accounting book and calendar, do not select any value in these fields. Enter the relevant DUNS, which is primarily for the United States. Select the supervisor from the list. In our case, Sonic Admin is the supervisor. Enter the tax ID. If you have multiple tax IDs for the organization, you can enter them in the other provided field. Select the tax rule. The tax rule determines how taxes are picked up during transactions. For further details about taxes, refer to the tax setup video. You can choose to base it on tax type and tax zip. Presently, we are selecting tax type. More details on this topic are available in the tax videos. Enter either your mobile number or the organization's phone number. Enter the organization's email address. Provide a brief description of the organization, and then upload the organization logo. Now save this record. The system will display a message, and you'll need to log out and log in again. Let's create another legal entity called Sonic Solutions, but I need to remove my filter to generate the Sonic Solutions organization. Click on the New Record button and enter the organization code and organization name. Then, check the Legal Entity checkbox. Check the Enable Budget Control checkbox if you need to generate a budget in this organization. Save the record and move to the Organization Info tab from the Navigation button. Enter the details just as we did for Sonic Ventures and save the record. You won't find a warehouse for this organization, so you'll need to zoom to the warehouse window to generate one. Enter the warehouse name and warehouse code along with the address of the warehouse. Then save the record. For further details about warehouse setup, refer to the warehouse setup video. Refresh the warehouse field and you will get the warehouse entry. If the warehouse entry isn't visible, you'll need to log out and log back in to get the warehouse value. Enter the values in the other fields. We will then log out and log in to the system again to link the default warehouse at the organization. We are entering dummy numbers for this session, but you need to enter the real numbers. Let's log out and log in once again to set up the default warehouse of Sonic Solutions. Presently, the system isn't showing the Sonic Solutions organization because we've logged in with Sonic Venture. Let's remove the filter, and then Sonic Solutions will be visible on the screen. Now, select the Sonic Solutions organization and move to the Organization Info tab to select the warehouse from the drop-down. The warehouse is still not visible, so close this window and run the cache reset process. Now, open the organization again and move to the Organization Info tab to link the default warehouse. If you have multiple organizations and want to create a hierarchy in the organization tree, you need to create an entry in the organization window at a summary level. Create the new organization, mark it as summary level, and save the record. You will see a folder generated in the tree, and there's no need to enter organization info for the summary level organization. Now, place the organization under this folder by clicking on the organization copy record and moving the record into this folder. Do this for any other organizations you wish to keep in this folder. If you have multiple organizations and want to search for a specific one, you can do so from this location. You can also search for the organization from the top search bar, which will find the record displayed on the screen. That's all for this session. Thank you for attending.